Hi, I am Bryce Bailey, and this is my final thesis project for Ryan Lancaster's History 201 class. Now, my project really focuses in on the Industrial Revolution and the environmental impact that the Industrial Revolution had on it. I found that through an advancement in technology and increase in genuine population during this time, the environment was subject to harmful chemicals, fossil fuels, and a depletion of natural resources. This ultimately led to a very negative impact on the environment. So I think to really understand a topic such as this, you have to really understand what the Industrial Revolution is. So through my research, I found that the idea of the Industrial Revolution is this transition from an economy dependent on farming and handcraft to one supported by industry, machine manufacturing. So back then, we really weren't thinking of the potential impact of burning coal and other fossil fuels to power our new equipment and machinery. We were really thinking of just growing as much, as fast, and as far as possible. It's only in recent years that we've really started assessing the kind of impact that we've had on the environment as a direct result of this insanely fast growth. I am in no way condoning the bad things we did to the environment. I'm just trying to give an understanding of why we did such a thing. Now, through my research, I found that there were really four main categories that the Industrial Revolution impacted. This includes air, water, soil, and habitats. To begin, we're just going to be looking at arguably the most important area affected, and that being the air. At the start of the Industrial Revolution, coal-fired factories began spewing more and more soot into the air. Coal was primarily used to power the newly developed steam engine, but was a staple energy source at the time. Because of industrial cities and their factories, air pollution greatly increased in these areas, leading to the formation of smog. A famous and very interesting example of the impacts of this pollution is the change in physical characteristics of pepper moss. Pepper moss originally found safety among birch trees with their amazing white and black camouflage. During industrialization, soot began to cover birch trees and surrounding areas in England. This new change in habitat ultimately gave darker colored moss the advantage. Through natural selection, we saw this transition from typical white and black moss to completely black ones. Not only is this a very interesting insight into natural selection, but it shows just how much pollution was in the air, resulting in whole trees turning black. Another really important resource that was being affected was water. Water pollution is important among all walks of life, but especially in those where factories are built next to natural water sources. These toxins come in a variety of forms, solid, liquid, or gaseous, and they can all end up contaminating the local water supply. Even landfills and other waste disposal areas can leach toxins into the local water supply. This, coupled with the overpopulation cities were experiencing, resulted in dangerous water conditions. For example, cholera, a very deadly disease, was able to flourish during industrialization. It was one of the most widespread diseases of its time. It was brought on by bacterial infection of the intestines that is spread through fecal matter, typically in water. A lack of sanitary knowledge resulted in many deaths from this disease and remains a staple in how impactful human interference with nature can be. Now we're going to be looking at lesser known victims of pollution, the first one being the soil. Soil contamination is another problem that goes hand in hand with industrialization. Lead is the most common form of soil contamination, but other heavy metals and toxic chemicals can also leach into the soil and in turn contaminate any crop that grows there. This is mostly due to big industries not properly disposing of their waste. Another contributing factor can be found in wastewater irrigation. We already understand that chemicals are found in drinking water at the time, and the same goes with irrigation. This led to heavy metals being dispersed into the ground all around the country, unknowingly damaging the natural environment. So this final topic is not necessarily very common in the Industrial Revolution's impact on the environment, but we see it a lot today and it goes hand in hand with the topic, so I'm going to explain it. We see that industrialization led to many dramatic effects in habitats. We see this mass need for production, so naturally forests are cut down for their lumber, ecosystems are destroyed to create roads for transportation, strip mines and gravel pits starts filling areas, and so on. Destroying these habitats upsets local ecosystems, and we start to see plant and animal extinction. There were little to no policies in place at the time, so if the species are unable to relocate or adapt to their new surroundings, it would ultimately lead to their extinction. The Industrial Revolution was a time of innovation and new ideas. There are many benefits to this new exploration of work, but the environment was subject to so much harm. This is a great example of how we as humans should not dive into things without complete understanding, because there can be detrimental consequences. Looking at topics such as the Industrial Revolution from so many angles is very important. Getting only one angle, whether that be good or bad, cannot even begin to show the true story. So in doing research, make sure that you are thorough and open-minded, because you might just find out that a very historically important event has many damaging qualities. And that was my final thesis project. Thank you for watching.